blocking the punt. Then we punt to them, and they muff the punt, and we do a great job in recovering that punt. And that didn't lead to anything because we ended up fumbling the ball there. So there were some opportunities in that first quarter and most of the second quarter where the Miners had a chance we had some things that went wrong, and we had a chance to make plays. And then, again, their quarterback did a tremendous job on a 3rd and 19. We have them, we're winning the game. We're doing well. And 3rd and 19, and he scrambles 18 yards, and he go for it 4th and 1. And then they put together an 18-play drive to score. And right before half, they score a touchdown. So there's 30 seconds or so left, I think. Get the ball on our 25. We run that fly play, reverse play. And if we just keep it outside and run it down the sidelines and step out of bounds and throw one pass, we might have a chance for a field goal. They tackle us, rip the ball out. They recover it. Replay indicates the guy's foot was on the out of bounds line, and I haven't heard back from the conference office as to how they rule on that thing. But it looked to me like his foot was on the line. But they get the ball, kick a field goal. 2 minutes, boom, boom. We're behind at halftime, 17-10. Where 2 minutes before that, we were ahead 10-7. So that wasn't good. But our defense was playing pretty well, and our offense, I thought Blair Sullivan came in the game and played pretty darn good for what the reps he's had in practice. You obviously saw we'd decided that earlier a week ago who would be the quarterback and what plays we would run. So we practiced them in practice for a good couple of weeks. So I just didn't want to allow them to know that we might be running the option, the zone read, and with Blair. But he did a pretty good job, and of course Nathan Jeffries ran very, very well. In the third quarter, they drive down and we block a field goal, and then we get good position and we drive it down in there and we miss a field goal. So we're still kind of in the game. And then just right before the fourth quarter, they run a cute little trick play where they go to the Wildcat offense and then pitch it to the quarterback, who throws all the way across the field, makes a nice catch. Sean Grayson's right there to tackle him, but that 60-yard pass set up their touchdown. And they go ahead 24-10. We're in the fourth quarter. So things aren't looking too good for the Miners. But we put together a real good 10-play drive and, get it to 24-17, then stop them again. And with, I guess, about 6 minutes to go in the game, they corner blitz. Kevin Perry makes a great block on the corner, who came all the way from outside right up the middle, and he kicked him out. And Jeffries hits it for 70 yards, and it's 24-20. We have the wind at our backs. Hold them, drive down in, kick a field goal, and win the game. Well, it didn't work out that way. They got a scholarship running back too, and he made a fantastic run, and they went ahead, and we didn't get the offense going. Special teams played very, very well. I thought Nathan Jeffrey played very, very well, 209 all-purpose yards. I thought Blair played pretty good. He had 150 yards total offense, running and passing. Mike Edwards played his heart out, made some good decisions in punts. And our offensive line played fairly well. Tight ends played pretty good. Shane Hune, I thought, played real well as a defensive back for us at strong safety. He had 13 tackles and 1 pass breakup, and he's a freshman, and he's been playing pretty good. Because they had good receivers. They had good speed receivers. And Josh Feely, again, played very, very well. He's playing probably the best of our linebackers. He's leading the team in tackles. And Jermard Reed probably had his best game of the year. Made a big-time play on a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 where he submarined underneath there and tackled the back before he even got sacked, and had a great sack. And he had 2 tackles for loss and 1 pass breakup. I thought Marcus Bagley played well too. He ran down a screen pass, just hustled. We hustled. It was a hard hitting game, a tough fight, a boxing match. We stood right in there toe to toe with them, and they knew that they were in a game, and we knew that we were in a game. If you watch the tape, it was a very physical game on both sides of the field, and both teams played physical. But we didn't win, and that's the object of the game. Questions about Central Florida game?
How much, do you have a feeling now how much you guys missed Nathan Jeffrey not having perhaps?
Well, I think we've always pretty much had that feeling. You know, we were tempted a little bit and tickled with by some of the underclassmen running backs that came in and really helped us get through those games. Didn't win them, but helped us. Gosh, you know, Zay helped us at Wisconsin. He had a good game. He didn't play much Saturday night, but LA got most of the backup reps. But Nathan is a real good player, and their running back was a great looking kid, wasn't he? But we would have held him under 100 yards had he not broke that run. I think we held them to the least amount of yardage that they've had all season. Central Florida. But it's obvious that we missed Nathan Jeffries, and we've had some injuries that have Adrian James, Jamie Irving. There's a few guys that we've had that, but for the most part, right now, even after this hard-hitting game, I don't think anybody's going to not play this game because of a result of getting hurt in the Central Florida game.
As you look over the season, it seems like there are 1 or 2 or 3 plays that just get missed or something.
I think, Duke, this game that we played, John Teicher said it the best, I think, on the radio show afterwards, is this game was kind of like our season. You know, we're in it, we're playing hard, we have enthusiasm, it's close, but 1 or 2 plays just we didn't make for whatever reason. And maybe because that's not the playmaker that we're missing. Might have been Nathan Jeffrey, or maybe Mike Edwards, or the quarterback making a play at a certain time along the way. We just haven't had those playmakers that have made those kind of plays. As you look at teams that win, they have that. I mean, Notre Dame, that quarterback is making plays for Notre Dame. At Texas A&M, that freshman quarterback is making plays for Texas A&M. So it's, whether it's a quarterback, wide receiver, running back, middle linebacker, defensive back, defensive end, the middle linebacker for Wisconsin is making plays, number 44. In this last game, he was heard on TV. The coach says, well, we just can't block number 44. That's exactly what I was asking Natkin when we played him. Do we have anybody assigned to number 44? Let's block him. Well, he's a good player. Same thing with their number 18. Real good player last week.
Coach, did you keep things a little conservative with Blair only scoring 11 times? Was that part of the game plan to keep it as simple as possible?
Yeah, we called 18 passes and he threw 11 times. That was definitely part of the game plan. I didn't let you know about that ahead of time going into the game because I, didn't want them to know what our game plan was. Our game plan, I thought, was good. It's 6 minutes to go. We got the wind. We stop them. We're going to drive down and kick a field goal and win that game. And so I thought we played it conservatively, much more conservatively than I'm used to doing.
And how would you grade Blair's performance?
Well, I thought it was good. I thought he was good. I didn't think it was great. He missed a couple of passes and he missed a couple of checks. But golly, you're playing the number one team in the conference and one of the best teams in the country. They are a top 25 team. I really believe that. And he certainly didn't lose the game for us. Even though he had an interception, which he got hit on, and a questionable fumble that we thought he was down on. That was not a fumble, but it was ruled a fumble. So I'd say he did pretty darn good. He was relaxed, but the best thing about it was the coaching, support, and valuable experience and advice that he was getting from the other quarterbacks, Nick and Carson. Didn't abandon him, didn't pout. They helped, did everything they could to support that kid. They did everything they could to help us win. They were tremendous on the sidelines. They're both signaling, you don't know which one's signaling the plays in and stuff, but when he comes over to the sideline, they were supportive. They had nothing but positive comments to me and to AP about, what play to select or what was going on, what they saw. Talk about two quality men in Carson Meager and Nick Lamison. It couldn't have been any better. Could have been a lot worse. I'm telling you, have teams before where they could split this team in two in a minute. In a New York minute, they could tear us apart. But they're not. The seniors are sticking together and they're staying with us, and we really appreciate that. 2 more games. Let's go out with 2 wins.
Blair going to start again this week?
Blair will start this week.
You going to open it up a little more? What do you think counts?
We'll see. I just haven't watched enough film to not comment on that. I'm not going to comment on it anyway. Okay, let's talk about next week. This week. Next week is this week. Boy, this team has had a rough team. This Southern Miss team took Central Florida to double overtime and lost in Orlando. They got players. They've played everyone tough. They're a streak team. I was talking to the coaches before the game and after the game about Southern Miss. The Central Florida coaches says, yeah, they're a streak team. Boy, when they're hot, they're hot. When they're not, they're not. And they've got athletes. They've got players. They have quarterbacks. Boy, do they have quarterbacks. They've played 5 quarterbacks. They've started 4 different quarterbacks this year. Anthony Alford is probably one of the best athletes on the team. He's the best, was out of high school the best athlete in the state of Mississippi. First round draft pick in baseball and football. He was a big top-notch recruit for the new coaching staff there when they got him, and he's a tremendous athlete. And that's he's number 2 on his jersey, but probably the starting quarterback. He hurt his ankle Saturday, didn't play the second half. So I don't know what the situation is. They have him listed as the starter. Chris Campbell's a big, tall guy, a throwing quarterback. He'd been out for 3 or 4 games, but played this last weekend. Threw real well. Big guy, rangy guy, tall, skinny. But then he got hit and just sandwiched by SMU and got whiplash in his neck. So I don't know if he'll be able to play. The second team guy, Ricky Lloyd, has played in 5 games for him, and he's listed as the backup. And he has been, no, he's not listed as the backup. I don't know what happened to Ricky Lloyd. The backup has been, number 4 has been suspended for a couple of games, and I think his suspension's over, so he'll be coming back. And then they ended up the game with Chris Weeks, number 11, a freshman quarterback. That's confusing for me. Can you imagine what it is for them? So they've had all those changes in their offense, and Lampley is really good receiver for him. Desmond Johnson's really good. Richard is the 100-meter dash champion from Louisiana, little number 30. He's real good, and Hester 21 are real good. So they still got guys at offensive lines all back from last year where they won 12 games. So Collins, the outside linebacker's playing great for him. He's our leading tackler. They run 3-man front, but he's the 4th guy that kind of like a rover back or something. He plays up on the end. Outside linebacker, he'll rush, he'll drop. He'll play a lot of different places. They play a lot of different defenses. They play, they're mostly 2-back, split back, flex, zone read type of team. Offensively, a little bit like we were this last game offensively, similar to what we did in this game. And they're at home, and it's a neat place to play, actually. Neat stadium, nice stadium. The fans were hostile as hell last time we were there, and I love playing in a place like that. And obviously we won in double overtime the last time we were there, so that helps. Going back, that feeling, walking in that stadium. But it is neat. The fans are rabid fans. They get after it, and they love their football. So I'm sure they'll do everything they can to have the team ready to go to get back on the. They have just as much pride as we do. They have just as good athletes as we do, and they're just as good at coaches as ours. So it should be a good game. It's going to be on TV. What's it going to be on? CBS Sports Network. Probably one of the hottest tickets you can buy in Mississippi right now for this game.
What's happened to them?
I don't. Well, they fumble turnovers. They're turn the ball over against everybody. Drop passes, just messing up at times when they shouldn't. And it's hard to figure out. But once that starts going that way, it's hard to pull that plane out of that nosedive, you know. But like I said, their kids have just as much pride as anybody does, and their coaches are just as good as anybody. My gosh, their offensive coordinator was the head coach at Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, Ricky Bristol, I think his name is. And he's a really quality guy, and the head coach is a defensive specialist. I mean, he's really, really respected in the coaching profession.
Do you have any idea who they're going to play for them?
I think the Alfred kid is going to some way be in there, and but they'll play 3 quarterbacks. If they have 3 quarterbacks left, you'll probably see if they have 2 quarterbacks left, you'll probably see 2. Alfred didn't look real injured, but he did not play a snap in the second half. The number 11, Cole Weeks, did, and he hasn't played much. He's only played in 2 games. But he finished it out against SMU. No, I don't think so. I think they run so much, it's kind of like their defense. They give you just about every blitz and every look in the book. So it's teams will do that when they're not winning, trying to change the play and make something happen. So you got to prepare for a lot of things. So let's just prepare for everything and just work on our technique and our fundamentals and get better. We did get better, I think, this game. I think we did get better this week going into this game. Just probably played a better team. Hopefully we will have something besides rice. Not that rice isn't good. My wife's favorite thing is white rice. There's no more left for Joyce. We're having rice. We are having rice next week. Why couldn't I have thought of that line? Hey, thanks for covering us anyway.